life, that's right. Star big screen roles with a voice so smooth. He's got the talent, he's in the groove. Now he's here on TRS, sharing moments sure to impress, chasing dreams and standing tall. Dean Redman's seen it all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Sorry we're late. We had a little technical difficulties. We are good to go. Thank you for waiting for us. Dean Redman is our guest tonight. Dean, thank you so much for showing. It's really incredible for you to work us in, and I appreciate it. I know you just got done emceeing a very important event.
Yes,
I have it in front of me. The Hollywood North International Film Festival.
Yes, and first off, I want to say thank you for having me, gentlemen. And it's no surprise that people on your show always start off with a big smile on their face, because I've never heard a song about myself like that before. So that was fantastic.
Hey,
that would put anybody in a good mood. Yeah,
that
was cool.
Thanks.
That was
thank
really
Josh
cool.
who produced it, and the complete and total AI machine that makes it so easy for us.
Really cool.
Yeah, I think the important thing about AI is you need to announce when you use it. People need to know.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. With Hollywood North International Film Festival, which I just finished hosting this past January 25th. It's an online film festival that has we had free screenings from, I think it was January 8th to February 11th. And so we got 2 more days left, and you can screen, 350 films from around the world. We had our inaugural, awards night out at the planetarium here in Vancouver, which is the Space Science Center, and we had full house. It was fantastic, and
I saw some pictures. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was. I was so impressed with because I was ready for anything. I was ready for like no one showing and me just talking into the live stream as if people were there. Like I was ready to do anything.
Right.
But it was a really big turnout. But as far as the AI goes, I saw some movies that I found out that they were AI, and if I wasn't told, I wouldn't have known. So since this AI it's a lot of good and can be some evil too. But we had 250 films, 300 films that we could have entered into the festival from 52 countries around the world. We had 7 categories, and we could talk about that later. But yeah, it was a
we're going to get into that too. Yeah,
phenomenal experience.
I think it's amazing because I interview so many people that have so many fascinating shorts and things that have only seen the festival that I could actually watch some of this stuff online now. And that's incredible because there's so many things. I'm like, that sounds like an interesting project. And you did this with that person, and it was only seen at 5 film festivals and it disappeared. We've made friends with a company, Typhoon, that puts stuff like that up, but there's still so much out there. So it's great that like anybody can participate and at least watch and see these works that might never get seen again. Yeah.
What we were wanting to do was create an opportunity, and a real opportunity, not something that didn't get noticed, but a real opportunity for young filmmakers and new filmmakers, not just young people or filmmakers. There are people that have been wanting to make films all their lives and now are starting. We wanted to give those people opportunities to who wouldn't necessarily have an opportunity because of financial situations, economic reasons, environmental reasons, first
knowing the right people reasons.
Yeah. So
as well.
And all we asked is that the film be 2 minutes, from 2 minutes to 45 minutes. And we got everything. We got some really, like, our winners. There are no losers, so to speak, but
sure, if you did it, you're amazing.
What's that? Yeah.
If you had something to submit, you did something amazing.
Yeah.
Period.
My philosophy with that is that if you have a story, I'd like to hear it. And one of the good ways to see someone's story is through the medium of light, sound, and moving pictures. And what we got was, I'm honestly I'm still kind of coming down from all of, because we've been working on this for about a year and a half.
Wow.
And we got some really phenomenal entries, and some of them were just shot on cell phones, but real quality. And what I learned, we have pre-screeners who watch our films, and it was a really hard for them to come up, because you had to come up with the ones you liked, and then you had to filter down, and there was just so many new ideas in film that are coming out that I'm just so proud to be a part of
That's
ushering
awesome.
in. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like they say, you're doing something right if you have to get rid of something that's good. So when
Yeah.
you're going through that list, you're like, oh, hey, this is
Yeah.
great. We have too much good, an
Yeah.
abundance of quality.
That's right,
Well, let's
man.
get into that. You mentioned about youth, and one of the ways we like to get to know people here is, what were you like as a kid? I know your background. Your parents moved from Jamaica to the UK, and you moved to
Yeah.
Canada at 7. How did this shape you, like as a younger teen, or at age 8 even?
That is a fantastic question, which I've never been asked before. I well, I came from, I was born in England, and in England there was a lot of racial tension, and I had to learn to figure out when I'm in a fight or not, because sometimes you
Right,
walk by somebody, all of a sudden we're fighting now, like, yeah, I would never know what was going on, so I became really fast.
right.
First thing I wanted to do was, when I was a kid, was I wanted to be a fire truck, because they got to make a lot of noise. Then I realized I'm human. That's probably not going to happen. Yeah, I was weird as a kid. I had a
No, I
vivid
love it.
imagination. Yeah, I
I
had a
love it. I
vivid
wanted to be a
imagination.
fireman, but you're like, no, I want to do the work.
I want to be a fire truck. I wanted to be a
Yeah.
fire truck, because they got to scream down the street, make all noise, and everybody got out of the way. Every time I saw a fire truck go by, it was very fascinating for me as a kid.
And we're going to touch on it later, because you do get to be a vehicle at some point in your career. But go ahead, let's keep going.
Yeah. And just learning how to read people. I spend a lot of time by myself, reading books, and just learning how to kind of protect myself when I was out in the world. I used to, well, here you go. I'm going to tell you. I used to look at
Okay.
trees, and I used to think they were people upside down with their leg. Like, I just saw things not in a
I
scary
love
way.
that.
Like,
No,
yeah,
it's been an
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I used to, my curiosity used to get me into a lot of trouble, and it was very hard for me to take, that's just the way it is, as an answer. I'd be like, why? Well, how come? How do you know? I just wanted to know why things were the way they were.
Yeah.
And now, I wasn't necessarily protesting them, but I just, I used to look at things, and, I used to wonder, why is the sky blue, and all these kind of things. But it just helped me understand. It helped me put together, because I used to like to, pretend like, when I was a kid, I would be walking around. I'd always have music on in my head. Dun, 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 all
The
you understand what I'm
soundtrack of
saying?
your own life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was pretty normal kid. Yeah. So and the film was fascinating for me, because of course, my mother and father raised me, but television raised me as well, because I used to sit down as a child, watch TV, eat dinner. I learned how to speak like an American or Canadian, from watching TV. A lot of people feel that I sound American, because I live here in Canada, Vancouver, but all of the shows, your wonderful film industry, we cater to the American film industry. So,
Yeah.
like, remember the Beatles, they sounded British, but when they sang, they sounded like Americans.
Yep.
Like, what the hell's that
Actually,
about?
I spent on your thought of, like, why does that happen, and you think these questions. Like, I thought that, and I looked into it, and at one point I knew the very detailed reason why, because of that, like, what sound better sung and elongated, and
Yeah.
but they've done research, and they found out, like, so we're not that odd in wondering why, and, like, give me more.
Mhm.
And yeah, so you had to live that too. Like, you had to discover
Yeah, I
what the
had to kind
different
of figure.
R's are.
Yeah, yeah. Because, like, for example, if would you like a glass of water, as opposed to, would you like a glass of water? Like, it's not very different at the very end. So I had to, well, when I noticed as well, because I was very curious when I would talk to people and they had an accent that I hadn't heard before. Their eyes meant nothing to me. I was looking right in their mouth the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always had a problem when somebody had an accent, particularly a European of any sort accent. When they talked for like 10 minutes, I would start as a child to emulate,
Mimic. Yeah.
and I quickly would realize maybe I'm offending them, and I'd walk
Yes.
away. But I never did it maliciously, or I'm like,
Yeah. No, it's
that,
just, yeah.
yeah.
I get it. I get it. I had the same thing, but it's just for me. I feel it's a way of blending in, fitting in to your environment in some way. You know what I mean?
So
Not trying not to stand out. Um,
is that what drew you to acting then? Like,
uh, yeah, I used to, I believe so. I've always been fascinated with silence. And what I mean by silence is, if I ask you a question, the silence that stands between just before the moment you respond. Is he thinking? Is he lying? Like, I mean, I'm not analytical like that, but just silence to me was always very louder than any audible sound, in
right?
essence. So I used to like watching TV. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to turn the sound down and try to see if I could figure out what was going on, especially when there was a scene between two people. So I was very fascinated with human nature and how people communicate with each other, whether it's through sound. I love music. I played the drums. So I was very curious about why it is we do the things we do.
You know, it hit me when you were saying the line about you would watch the TV with the sound off, but what you
Yeah.
were doing, you were studying acting, because these
Yeah.
are
I guess.
these
Yeah.
aren't real
Yeah.
people talking in real conversations. They were
Yeah. I
acting
guess
through
so.
conversations, and like as a child, you were studying acting and didn't know it. Like that blows me away.
I've never realized that, but thanks for figuring that out. Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right.
All right.
But stories, I like stories, and I used to be a big fan of the hero, but now I like the villain, because the villain is just so much more complicated. And again, well, why did he try to kill everybody in the house? Like, there's got to be a reason why some people
Yeah.
wait. You don't just wake
And that
up in
makes
a
a good
bad mood.
villain. When there's
Yeah.
good reasoning behind
Yeah.
whatever they're doing, instead of, well, they're just a bad guy, they do bad things. That's
Yeah.
boring. And it's boring
Yeah.
with heroes too. Like, why are they being a good person? Like, at least
Yeah.
Spider-Man like has a reason.
Yeah.
Everybody else just does it because they're supposed to, and that doesn't always play true.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Joker in Batman. He was pretty one of my favorite villains, because he was never boring. He always came up
Yeah.
with this crazy stuff, but he mustn't have got enough hugs or something like that. There must have been something that must have been on.
Yeah. And you're part of the DC universe too. Like, I was going to get
Yeah.
to this later, but actually, we will get to that later. Before,
Okay.
like, I want to go real quick through this, unless Josh had something in between. You started off doing background work in
I did.
films and TV, and
Yeah,
then
I was ashamed of it before, but now I'm very proud of it.
oh heck no, I think it's like paying dues. Like, you figured out, and I saw another interview where you said you studied what other people on set were doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was
Yes.
a learning experience, and you were finding
Yeah.
your place and figuring out and going in respectfully, possibly even like, this is what you do here.
Yeah, but we always
Because
had to
I'm
be quiet.
fascinated.
So go ahead. Sorry.
I'm always fascinated by the first day on your first real set as an actor. Like, do you have imposter syndrome? Are you terrified you're going to screw up something, get thrown off? Like, but you knew before you were in front of the camera on that level.
Yeah, I just was in the background, and then I slowly started. So I started doing special skills, and I joined an agency called DEFCON 5, where we were.
I'm fascinated by DEFCON 5. I didn't know this was a thing, and it makes perfect sense that it is. But
Yeah, no,
please tell
DEFCON
the audience what DEFCON 5 is.
So DEFCON 5 was a military agency for film that was created by a man by the name of Ron Blecker. And I believe he won the Order of Canada. Also a gentleman by the name of Rob Fournier, two wonderful men. Now these are two. One, Ron Blecker was a ex-U.S. military, and Rob Fournier was from Canadian military. And
Okay.
whenever you see a movie in like the 2000 and in the early 2000s to like 2000 to 2010, I guess, whenever you'd see like firemen or SWAT or military, it was always us, DEFCON 5, because they took us all and they showed us how to hold weapons, not to cover your face with the weapon. They always like, because this is bad, this is good. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we actually learned how to fire weapons. They gave us a criminal background check on all of us, because we were on set with real weapons at times. Sometimes the weapons are replicas, but often we were using real AR-15s and Glocks and things like that. So yeah, we were a military organization that for film, but we treated ourselves with And Rod Blecker was he was also an armorer, and he was no joke. He was a hard ass, and he taught us a
Well,
lot of discipline. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for the guy, because he's taught me, at least taught me so many things that I've carried forward discipline wise, as far as being on set and things, and just basic, you know, concentration and just awareness. So yeah, it's a fascinating. I'm so proud to be a part of DEFCON 5.
it
It's
sounds
no,
amazing.
yeah, it no longer is around, but it was we were the cat's ass.
Was this a common thing? Is this like common thing, like specialized groups that, like chefs in a kitchen for background scenes or movies, like that they actually know how to use and work the kitchen equipment? Or was this
No,
just
see,
somebody thought of it, it was a great idea and it worked for a while?
yeah, well, yeah, because they were from the military, and they could tell that, as you can see now, being a part of DEFCON 5, I can see him watch a movie, and I can tell that this person doesn't know how to handle a weapon. Cop uniforms were, sometimes really baggy, and like we were like legit as possible. We all like to take care of each other. If we saw a guy and his, some lace was sticking out, we had to check each other. We did.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very
So
tight. We were a very tight group.
I when I first heard about that, I was like, does anybody do anything like that now? Or are they
I,
just hiring whatever they can hire?
I think it's been a while, but I think there are enough people that have been doing it long enough now that there are guys that pretty much know how to. And there's courses now. There are on-set weapons courses, and
Okay.
things like that people take. But back then there wasn't any of that. So, but no, there's not really much. I don't think there's much of a DEFCON 5 anymore.
Okay. So that would, I think I actually hard to believe, considering how many action movies and superhero, and that there's not a
X-Men,
dedicated,
yeah, yeah,
or even a dedicated group of survivors that are always on the city street and know how to run safely away from the camera.
yeah,
Something,
yeah,
like, because it's in every movie, might as well use the same people.
yeah.
The next steps in your life. So at this point, were you doing stunt work and camera, like regular role work?
Well,
Was this mixed in with DEFCON 5, or I
no,
just
no. What I was doing was DEFCON 5 was on special skills. It was still background. And then a few guys would transfer into stunts, because the stunt coordinator would see that you're capable of certain things, and then he'd be giving out our resume to stunt coordinators constantly. They'll give you a job, and if they like you, he or she will hire you again. So I was with DEFCON 5, then I got into stunts, and then I started doing stunt acting, which is acting and fighting, so to speak. You know what I mean?
okay.
The but that was a niche area, because if you're a stunt actor and you get hurt and you're one of the leads, then you people are going to lose money.
Yep.
So they tried to keep those two separate. I was one of the fortunate stunt actors. There's another gentleman by the name of Mike Doput, who was a good friend of mine, and he was a stunt actor as well. But it wasn't very common. It wasn't very common that a stunt guy would act. And then I got more into acting because I just my roles got bigger. I started doing guest star and things like that, and then they would bring in a stunt guy because if I got hurt, then it would be a big issue for not only
Right.
myself but
Continuity of this. Yeah.
production. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like when I
Um,
step on a set, there's about 45 people who have already arranged for me to do my thing, catering, lighting people,
right.
sound, hair, makeup. So it's a big,
Blocking
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So was this the point about, because the way I know your face, and whenever I first saw your card, I'm like, I know this guy. I've seen, like, I knew your face, and it was Stargate.
Okay.
Was this
Yeah.
about that time where you're doing DEF CON 5 and stunt acting?
That was exactly the time. That was one of my first big gigs was Stargate SG1, and I was hired by Peter DeLuise.
Amazing guy, from what I hear.
Yeah, fantastic guy. Yeah, fantastic guy. Yeah, yeah, that was around that time. That's you're right on.
Okay,
it.
cool. It's
Yeah.
like, as soon then I realized that, and I went through the episodes. I'm like, I remember him there. I like you're near enough to me. You're SGU. You could be at the booth at the con signing stuff. Like, you're definitely,
SG1.
you killed an Unis, but that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, no, that was around the time, and it was working on Stargate was a lot of fun because I did background stunts acting. It supplied a lot of us Canadian actors. Well, actors in Vancouver, a lot of work. So I have a lot of love for Stargate SG1.
I think the show's still fun today. Honestly, every once in a while,
Yeah.
I'll just find a random episode and play it. I'm like, that's good.
And sideways flushing toilet. I mean, who has that anymore? The Stargate.
Yeah, it's only Stargate. I still like the special effect for it too. It looks possibly better than Doctor Who. It's the same tunnel through the thing after you go through it. I think Stargates might look a little better.
Yeah, no, working on that show they had this big set for the actual Stargate itself, and it was just as fascinating to us doing background that, like, that's the Stargate. Like, so we take photos with it, and like it was a really cool show to be on. Really great show.
So, what was your favorite stunt that you've performed, like, to date? Like, the one you remember and you could watch over again and just like and enjoy?
That's a good question as well. I'm not sure. Let's see. Probably something driving. I've done some stunts. Can't remember what show, but I remember I had rolled a vehicle on its roof one time, which was scary, and I didn't realize how loud that sound is in your head when you're upside down in a vehicle. But
it's a sound you hope never to hear.
Yes. But what did I do? I did I did a lot of doubling too. I used to double. I doubled Cuba Gooding Jr. I doubled.
I could see it, yeah.
I doubled a guy by the name of John Marshall Jones in a show called John Doe. I doubled a few actors as well. But I was not really more of the specific stunt. I was, again, stunt acting. There are stunt people who do stunts, and they'll jump off of buildings. I mean, I did a building fall one time, but it's not. I could tell. No, I don't want to be doing this too much longer. So, but it's more.
As a kid, always wondered.
Yeah.
Could I do that?
It's still scary. Yeah. The stunt people are like the really serious stunt people. They do some very intricate stunts, and there is a high risk of injury. And when one of our people do get injured, it does really. We all pull together to rally around that individual, because safety first.
The people, they give themselves to the product, like literally give themselves to the project.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to I might have in my next festival is eventually is a stunt category, because my argument is, like, You pick a movie, I guarantee you, the movie is driven by the trailer is driven by stunts. You watch any
Yes.
movie trailer, it's the stunt people are the ones that are selling that movie, the action. Right. So I think one of the categories I'd like to
Yeah.
have in this festival is it would be a stunt category.
Well, in the 70s, there were movies about the stuntmen,
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds
Neat.
on, including like his actual stuntman, and like it was a
Yeah.
thing, and I don't know why it went away because and
Fall
also
Guy. Remember the series The
Fall Guy,
Fall Guy
yeah,
with Lee
and
Majors?
the
Yeah.
Fall Guy movie just came out again, so hopefully people recognize these people that make our pictures way more interesting than they could be in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's a tough gig being doing stunts and stuff. Because when I did a movie called Warcraft,
Yeah,
and I was riding horses in the movie. I was I got killed at the end of the movie. This orc by the name of Black Hand picked me up and just popped my head off. But I had to get lifted up, on cables and things like that. But the stunt people there, I had a stunt double, and yeah, I some of the stuff I saw him do, I was like, man, that's thank you.
glad I'm not doing. Thank you. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Uh, the one question I did have, you said you grew up watching a lot of TV. We
Yes.
covered that, and now you're moving on to doing big things in front of lots of audiences with a lot of known people. Have you been to that point where somebody you always wanted to meet as a kid is now somebody you're working with daily? And if so, what was that like?
Well, I did a movie called Tron and Tron Legacy,
Yeah.
and in that movie, I think it was 3 or 4 days. I had scenes with Jeff Bridges, and if I had really, because I'm a big fan of Jeff Bridges, they say don't meet your heroes because sometimes the person you meet is just like there's some actors I've met that I'm like, wow, geez, that's not what I heard. You know, I
I know the
heard,
feeling.
yeah.
That's happened.
I heard you were, pretty decent. But anyway, you meet someone on a bad day for whatever, I don't know. But
It
meeting
happens.
Jeff Bridges, he was everything and more that I wished he could be. He was funny. He treated, I was a cyborg, I believe, or a program in Tron. I had
Right.
like, armor and stuff like that. We had a few scenes, and he was just. I didn't really realize what was happening until 5 days after the filming. I was like, I just worked with Jeff effing Bridges, and he was cool. You know.
Thank you for being the first actor to be honest about that.
Oh, good. Yeah. No.
I kept it professional and I didn't think too much about it. No, because
You know
I don't know
what?
how you can. Yeah, like
I'm
you
gonna
keep it
tell you.
professional in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. Uh, as an actor, you're freaked out all the time. You're nervous. You don't know where your next job is coming from. When you look at the calendar, sometimes you have all the okay, your phone now. There's some you see all your previous dates or dates in the future. Sometimes you see none. I don't really know of any actor who's I got asked this question the other day. Um, in an interview, I got asked, so what is it like to be a successful actor? And you may have seen this interview, I don't know. But
Not that
and that's
question.
not a
No.
question that's a question every actor wants to get asked. So, but when I got asked it, I was like, ooh, I'm not ready. I don't, because you know what I mean? You don't think like, ooh, what are you trying to do to me here? So I said, I could see I was a little not prepared for it. So he said, okay, with an actor who has had some success, a successful actor, what is your idea of success? And I said, my idea of success is creating opportunities for people within my industry, because that's exactly what I'm doing now.
Beautiful.
And I didn't realize that until he asked me that question, because with the Hollywood North International Film Festival, where, all of those judges are people I've personally worked with in the past and said to myself, oh, I'd like to work with him or her again. And that's not the case with every actor, and these are actors, directors, producers, cinematographers, and animators. So I was able to compile a very talented panel of judges from my experiences in the past. I thought maybe working with them again, I'd be booked on another movie or something like that. But fortunately, I was the one able to facilitate that, and it felt amazing.
Right.
So yeah. So
That's I forget where we started on that, but I did like you blew me away with that, like the line about what success is. And I can tell you as a person who interviews, I never want to ask that question because I feel like everybody I'm talking to is a success. And I don't want to like, but you're not an A-list. Like that just seems
yeah.
like you've done amazing things. I've never come close to that. You were a success. Like, so maybe I should
Well,
ask it, I guess.
thank you.
No?
No, I mean,
Ye-
but I mean, when you get in my opinion, actors, I get asked questions. Well, you just it's a tough job, but somebody's gonna do it, and all that bull. Like, we're vulnerable, we're nervous, we don't know if we're screwing up sometimes. When the director is maybe dealing with some issue that has nothing to do with us, we're wondering, okay, what's going on? Like, no, we're freaked out, and we're just as vulnerable as anybody else, even sometimes even more, because we have to stand on the mark and make it look like I have to make it look like I know what to do with my hands,
You know what you're doing, yeah.
on action. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
And then
it's
repeat
not
it 20 times exactly the same way because somebody else has to get
yeah.
theirs fixed. Yeah.
You ever heard of semantic satiation?
No.
It's like if I say rhubarb 15 times, all of a sudden,
Oh,
I,
means nothing.
rhubarb, like it loses its meaning. So sometimes sometimes they'll do it take 10, 15 times, and then it's like, you don't even know where sometimes am I in the beginning of the speech or in the middle, or like, so it can, and another thing on being on set is, for example, when I worked on, what was it? Well, for example, some show I worked on for 2 weeks. That was one scene, one moment in time. So I'm wearing the same clothes for 2 weeks, pretty much standing in the same kind of. I couldn't. Sometimes it's hard to remember what day. Like, what day is it? Like, because everything's the same. Everything's the same around you. So it is a very interesting profession to be in, and it is not for everybody, but I love it because I get to, I feel like I'm maybe from another planet or something. I'm like, oh, this is, I'm showing you Earthlings how you do. Well, this is what you do when you eat pizza. I love pizza. This is what you do when you're lying. This is how you look when you're
Yeah, you're right.
being sneaky. Like all these little fun things. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, but
I've
it's not sitting there and just talking.
I
It's
think a
not
lot of
that.
the skill in acting is dealing with the process of being recorded. Uh, and until you said something about the repetition and words losing meaning, I've always wondered, especially when I was younger, why actors, whenever they even watch, like do a watch along of something that they've done, like an actor is watching an old Brady Bunch episode they were in, they have no specific memories of it. Like in your life, you do something and you have a specific memory of I leaned on the pole, the sun was bright in the window, but actors seem to very rarely have those moments of at that moment because they're
Yeah,
repeating it so often that it means nothing. Like they don't know what take it was
exactly.
or even what
Yeah,
day that take was.
yeah,
So it wasn't the day they had a really
yeah,
good
and
bagel.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't tell what take that is, if that was day one or day
Yeah.
two. Plus, when you're reacting to inanimate objects and things that aren't realistic, that aren't real, those are not real reactions. But if somebody threw a ball at me, I remember that because I really reacted, so I didn't get hit. But saying lines and things like that, it is an interest, like to intake a lot of that dialogue and make it flow, make it work. It is it is stressful, but it's very rewarding when
When
you pull something off nice, and if they packaged it nicely, and then when you watch the product, it can be very, very, very rewarding. You know.
and I wanted to segue this into your voice acting now, which
Yeah.
would probably have, well, I'd hope, less takes. But you're also in a booth. You see the same thing, except for the page in front of you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Was Dutch your first big voice acting role for Black Lagoon?
Dutch was Yes, you're right. Yeah, I appreciate you doing your research because it helps me not have to think so much. Yes, Dutch from Black Lagoon was my very first job. I was flying to Japan because my father-in-law had just died,
I'm
and
sorry to hear that.
yeah, and then my agent was like, "You remember the thing you did 6 months ago?" No, he goes, "Well, they booked you," and I'm like, "What is it?" And it's a series, and I was like, "What?" So I ended up we stayed there for a while. And I came back, and yeah, came right into this series. It was a lead role. I didn't do little small roles first. I did a lead role, so it's kind of hard when you start something as a lead role because then you're maybe in your next job, but maybe a principal role, but then you're like, am I getting demoted here? Like so it's all crazy. But yeah, Black Lagoon was my very first job, and I'm very very happy to have done that. Done a lot for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's there's a hashtag specifically for your character. Like if you go on Instagram and type Black Lagoon Dutch, it's a hashtag. Like you're like just your
Hallelujah,
character is its
hallelujah, and
own.
peanut butter. It's
It's
called
just
yeah,
great, right?
hallelujah and peanut butter. That's that's Dutch's hashtag.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
where
I
that
didn't see
came
that
from,
one, but
but
I knew it was like catchphrase. But like yeah, like it's I every because I went through your thing on Instagram and doing the research. I'm like, that's a hashtag. This character is its own hashtag, not just the series or the name of the show. It's that
oh, I
character
see what you
has
mean.
its
Yeah,
own hashtag. Yeah, like
yes, yes, yeah,
that's pretty damn cool if you ask me. The whenever you
yeah.
created
No, no.
Dutch as a character, when you developed what Dutch is going to sound like, react like, was that very different from your previous acting when like you don't have to do the physical so much but like just developing and thinking about or was that also in collaboration with what the drawing was and what the director wanted or showrunner I
Well,
assume.
to tell you the truth, Nathaniel, that character Dutch is the original version is Japanime.
Yeah,
So it was originally done in Japanese. So I listened to the Japanese voice actor, not thinking,
okay,
I would mimic him, but yeah, when I heard him, I was like, boy, I don't think he'd sound like that. But I mean, respect to them, that's
okay,
the original sound. But I just, because I'm as in the studio, I'm watching the actual video, and then I'm looping my words into the character's mouth, and I would keep repeating until it felt right, and then there was a certain level of bass that because Dutch is 7 foot 2 inches, he's about I think it's like 450 pounds, like he's a big man, so I had to keep on. They allowed me to regulate, be like when I felt happy with it, then that's what they used because I could continue to do so. So yeah, I just would watch the character and then speak the lines, and it just there was a certain way that my voice would sound that would just say that's it, and I never knew it until
okay.
it happened. So yeah, that's how that worked out.
Yeah,
I have a lot of creative
I've talked to
freedom with Dutch.
yeah, I talked to a couple of voice actors where sometimes like the director or whoever's running the translation, they want you to sound more like the original, or they have a completely different
Yeah.
idea of what that voice is going to be, or they let. So I that's yeah, I was curious, just like the going in like okay, I'm going to do this or whatever, but yeah, you also have to match the mouth movement as much as you can too. So I
Yeah, it's
didn't
called
think
loop.
about
It's
how
called
that will.
looping. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you do a
it
couple
sounds
takes.
hard.
Sometimes you miss the last word. But the thing about it is, Japanese voice looping does not equate to English voice looping because one word in Japanese may be five mouth flaps. One in English may be two. So
Yep,
we had to come up constantly with and ha 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 ha, to fill the
fill in the
extra
space. Yeah,
spaces or
they
take certain
didn't.
words out. So yeah, yeah,
I always
it
wondered if they
wasn't
edited
doesn't
out
it doesn't
frames to have that
translate.
happen too.
Yeah, we would do a run at it, and then if it was great, they'd leave it and just do a safety. But then sometimes we had to chop up certain pieces of things. So it was a really good learning experience for me. I also did have to do some voice mimicking. And I had to mimic Morgan Freeman. I had to mimic. I played
How is your Morgan
General
Freeman?
Nick Fury. What's that?
The Nick Fury I did one. I was going to do a similar question with voice work on Nick Fury. There's the graphic.
Oh, there we
Um,
go. Cool.
Well, let's go there now. With Nick Fury, were you doing more of a mimic, or what level of mimicking, or trying to keep the characters recognizable? And then, did you think like, is that inappropriate, or?
Well, the very first time I was hired by Marvel to do Nick Fury, I was hired because of my interpretation of that character, my voice.
Okay.
But then the second time, I did, because I'm not saying I came before Sam Jackson, but I did the voice of Nick Fury before Sam Jackson did the film, like the movie of Nick Fury
Oh, I didn't.
in Shield. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
So
realize
then
that.
when Sam Jackson came in and had done the Nick Fury's voice, then we were all expected to mimic. I was expected to mimic him. Can I do that? And there's a series where I did called Hulk versus Wolverine, and it's like an anime. It's an anime. It's an interesting concept. You have it's cartoon squares, but they're talking within the squares. It's like your cartoon is talking to you. Your cartoon book magazine is talking to you. It was quite
Right.
brilliant. And I had to mimic Sam Jackson. But I'm telling you, at the beginning, I thought I must have sounded like Sam Jackson, but by the end, I was doing myself. Like 3 episodes in, yeah. So, and I didn't say anything. Yeah. So,
And they didn't say anything. So, hey.
I mean, they're trying to keep it as original as possible. But thanks to Sam Jackson, I got to do a lot of wonderful work with Marvel, with the Marvel team. Great people.
So are you a fan of the Marvel or DC universe, or like reading the books?
If I had to choose
fan?
one, if I had to choose one, I probably would. Well, maybe I won't. Yes, I'm a fan of both.
You don't have to pick one or the other. They're both. I think both of them have strong points across all the mediums. I know I prefer DC animated over Marvel, and I prefer Marvel live action over. Yeah.
That's exactly. Thank you, Nathaniel. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly. I like the movies. I like Spider-Man cartoons. I used to run home for lunch. Spider-Man raised me from 12. Flintstones and Spider-Man raised me from 12 o'clock to 12:45 for lunchtime.
Flintstones. You must be my age.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm. We won't go there, but yeah.
I'm 77.
No way, not even close.
He's like,
not even close.
No.
You'd have been rushing home to see Jackie Gleason. I'm 54. But yeah, I used to run home to watch those cartoons.
I just turned 57. I turned 57
damn good looking, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
I'm confident enough I can flirt with you right here. Like
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's shock the world.
You're good looking too, Josh.
You got to get on the screen now, Josh. He's not.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He is. He's a handsome man. So you cross both universes, and I have to bring this up because I didn't know this was a thing, and I'm actually going to go and buy this toy. You were the voice of Triton, the Tobot, and I watched a little bit of the show. I love the character. I love that it's a bunch of Kia cars that transformed into a giant robot. And the transformation looks pretty good, if you ask me, even the toy wise and in this. I like it. If you like Voltron and the Transformers, this is a continuation of it. And I'd say it's funnier from what I saw. Like the kids were generally fun. The bad guys were goofy, goofier. Yeah.
Tobot Triton was the character. Yeah. He used to always be flexing and stuff. A lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. So you've done your research. That's
Oh, I had
that's
to.
great.
Combiner robots were always my favorite as a kid. When I might buy for real. I looked at it on Amazon. It's like $66. That's reasonable because it's a big enough toy. It
Thank you.
looks well done. Do you
Yeah,
own
we got to
any of
play
your
with a lot
toys?
of toys in the studio.
Do
Pardon
you
me?
own it? Like, do you have one on your shelf somewhere in your house right now?
No, but I do have some at a friend's place because we're doing renovations right now, and I've got
Yeah, yeah.
taken a lot of stuff. But I can show you something.
You don't
I'll
have
show
to. I
you.
trust you
No, I'll
if you
show you.
want.
I'll show you something that a fan painted for me. I'll show you real quick. Right back.
Oh, that's
It's
great
from
because we're
from
gonna.
Warcraft because I in the Warcraft movie I played two characters.
Yes,
So and they here I'll be right back.
this is gonna be awesome. Hey, Josh, now would be a good time to do the promo stuff.
Sure, we can do that. We do have our interview with Joe Cool going
Okay.
up on the
So
channel right now. Oh, we're back.
Wait, wait.
Here we go. Let's take a look.
Let's
There we
switch
go.
some
so
things.
this is I played a orc in
Yep.
World of Warcraft, and I also played
That's
a human,
beautiful.
a soldier from the Royal Army. So that's me, the soldier, and then the other
That's
on I guess on your left side would be the other side would be the orc. So it's the split face or whatever.
I love it.
And
Whoever did that
yeah,
is
her
amazing.
name is Patricia. Her name is Patricia Sparks. She's an amazing artist. We're friends now. But she made this for
Wow.
me. Made this for me like she did it in like 6 hours.
Wow.
She did it in 6 hours. So yeah. So I think have you
Good
seen
job,
it?
Patricia Sparks.
Yeah, Patricia
Wow.
Sparks. So yeah, that's
Good job.
this is one of my
I'm
favorite
glad you showed that.
possessions. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be one of my favorites too. That's great.
Patricia, if you want to do one of me, you got better things to do. No, I know, like, if I ever got to a point where somebody made a toy of me, I'm gonna have a lot of them. I'm that egotistical. I'm that much of a nerd. Like,
I do have I have a couple of and when I did War for the Planet of the Apes, Woody Harrelson was just amazing. He was wonderful to me.
I've heard great things about the man.
He's
From every source.
He's such a sweet guy. He's really nice, positive energy, really nice to be around. So on for War for the Planet of the Apes, I played his kind of like his muscle, his executive officer. So anytime there was issues, I would take care of the problem. But we all had to stand in this room, this trailer that had like about 65 cameras, and they were taking photos of us because they were going to make action figures for War for the Planet of the Apes, and I believe they have made them, but I'm still looking on the internet for it because I'll be one of the little military guys, standing like this and stuff. So yeah, there are some toys out there of me which are very humbling. It's pretty cool. It's not what I got into it.
No, of course, but it's the perks are nice. The stuff that happens on the side.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I wanted to go. We have 10 minutes left, and I do want to definitely talk about.
Okay.
You do conventions as well, and I don't talk to a lot of people that do conventions and have to interact with fans. And you have fan bases from DC to anime. Like you've done so much, and it's hard to talk about all you've done. So I apologize. If anybody's has a question about any of the other work that I might not have talked about, please put it in chat. We'll try to get it up on the screen and get your question out. So you deal with fans from a very multiple movie fan bases, all kinds of nerddom and everything that I love. What is that like rolling into that arena with the fandom? Like on the ego and on the energy?
Well, to be honest, it all goes to my heart because, for people to give you that much attention and love and for you to let it go to your brain, go to your head and, take advantage of it or be, like just comes back to what I said. It's like, I want to provide opportunities for other people because if I'm providing opportunities for other people, I'm providing an opportunity for myself. Now, with that being said, there's people that wait in line for hours to get into some of these conventions. anybody anywhere that I see that is not trying to kill me, I'm going to take the time to shake your hand, ask you your name, because if it weren't for you, I would, it's all like, I'm a big believer of delayed reactions. And what I mean by that is, there's fans all over the world, but each one of their energy spent on watching you leads to a career in film. So there's no way I could do this by myself. So when you see,
Right.
I'm so grateful for the fan base and the things that people say, and things like this from Patricia.
Yeah.
I I just only hope that my only thing that I'm always mainly concerned about is I don't want to let them down. I don't want someone to meet Dean Redman and say, you know what, I met that guy and he was a jerk. Because when you meet somebody that you sort of look up to and they're not so nice, it hurts. It ruins it just takes away a piece of your fun. So I don't want to let any of my fans down. And so, but I love to meet all of them. I mean, they're giving me
I love that. Yeah.
help me maintain a wonderful career. So yeah, it's a very beside yourself. I liken it to when I walk into a convention and people are clapping and you're getting all this love. It's as out of body experience for me as going and standing next to the ocean. That's how big of a feeling it is, and shows you how small you really are. Like, like this is because of them, not you. You know what I mean? You're here for them. They're not, like, I try not to get things twisted, right?
I love that.
Do you
I love
understand
that.
what I
And
mean?
it's the truth, the nobody exists without the community and the world around them.
Sorry, I lost you there.
I think it's great to recognize everything around you. And you also have the thing that I try to do as much as possible, which is put good into the world. And that is good that can come back. Like if you put good out there, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing on this show. I don't want to talk about tabloid stuff. I don't want to ask about what rude celebrity said. I want to concentrate on you talking about the good
Yeah.
things. And I believe that
Thank
the
you.
more
Well, I've been having
good
a
you put in the
wonderful
world,
time.
the more we'll bounce back and
Yeah,
begin to hate you.
we could really do with a lot of it right now, Nathaniel.
But yeah, things are getting
Yeah.
weird. Things are getting weird.
Yeah.
I just
But
hope Canadians continue to talk to me. So,
oh no, we have way more in common than whatever is trying to be made up, and we all want the same things. So that's
hey, we
we
have
all
an
want to see. We
audience
all want our
question
kids to grow
available.
up. We all want to. Okay.
Let's take a question from the audience. I have no idea. Are you talking about any upcoming projects, and have you ever thought about working behind the camera either as a producer or director? From Jay Bradley,
Sorry, say that
2012.
again, because I didn't.
Jay
Can you say
Bradley,
that again, please, sir?
2012 asks, are we going to talk about any upcoming projects? And have you ever thought about working behind the camera, either as a producer or director? And yes, one of my final questions, and we could ask it now. Do you have any future projects you want to talk about? Because I'd love to hear about them. And I was going to ask if you ever wanted to do more with the camera.
Okay, well, those I have those answers. A matter of fact, I do. Yes, actually, next week I'm directing a film for a friend of mine named Shishai Gabru. He's an actor. I'm also working on a series, and I can tell the name now. We've been working on it for about 6 years. The working title right now is Black Knights of the FBI.
Okay.
And also, and there's also, what else am I doing?
It sounds interesting.
We're working on another, it starts in the 60s and it follows, it's a really interesting story. But I'm working. I just finished a movie called Sugar Plummed, which is it's a Hallmark Christmas movie, but it's actually pretty cool. I really, really like that movie. But the series that I'm working on is probably my next big thing that I'll be doing about outside myself. I mean, of my own projects. But yeah, I'm behind the camera. I've never really. I know what I like. I know what I want when I look at the lens, but I don't think I'll ever be probably go into being a cinematographer. But definitely, I've been producing for a few years now, and I'll be doing more directing as well. Yes.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for the question. There is on IMDb they list Project Forgiver. Is that what you're directing? Is that
No, that is a production that involves Eric Roberts, and we're
yes?
still trying to figure out what's going on with that because there's with this industry is it's never solid, and now we're in a writer's strike and things like that. So we're just kind of seeing how things work
Right.
out. And besides, Eric is he's dancing with the stars right now, so he's busy.
We just interviewed two gentlemen who they're finishing up a movie that he's been in, Emergence 2028, and it sounds like he's going to be
Okay.
fun to work with, like a genuinely fun guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's a really. We've done some meetings together already, and yeah, he's lovely. He's a lovely guy.
cool. I didn't want to touch. I wanted to see if that was the project you had talked about. We have just a couple minutes left, and I just really I kind of want to circle
What?
back to the Hollywood North International Film Festival,
Okay.
because I think
Yeah.
it's a very important and fascinating thing. And so next year, this simply January next year, there will be another one, or is this
Yes.
like
We're
how do
already
people get lined up to
in
be
the
part of
mix.
it now?
Well, we're just going to launch our website again, and start people will start join becoming members so they can watch the movies. But there's one other quick thing I'd like to talk about. We're also doing another
Okay.
festival because of the success of the Hollywood North International Film Festival, and this is going to be something more based on it's a film festival, but we're also doing music, we're doing fashion, we're doing photography, and we're also doing comedy. So I'm going to be really busy attracting musicians and comedians and actors and photographers and fashion designers. So the success that we had from the Hollywood North International Film Festival has created this new thing for us, and I'm very inspired. And I just want to thank everybody for coming to the film festival. And I also want to thank 4+1 Events, which is the driving team behind the festival, and my wonderful publicist. You know her, I
I
know
love
her,
her.
Josh knows her, the wonderful Leslie Diana at the promotion people. Isn't she
Yep.
amazing?
She's amazing. She is with just without a doubt one of the reasons that we get to talk to people like yourself. She believes
Yeah,
in us. She gives
me
of
too.
herself. She helped solve our technical issue tonight. Leslie is all
She,
that,
she
and I
did.
can't
She
thank her
did.
enough.
Yeah, she's
So
fantastic. Yeah. But
reliable.
yeah,
Everything
that's
she
what
says happens.
yeah, she does not play. Sometimes when she calls, I pick up the phone immediately, pick up a pen, and she'll say, "Look, okay, you got 3 interviews. You're late for one. Stop crying. I told you about the crying. Okay, write this down." No, I'm just I'm shouldn't say that.
I love it.
But she's a
Hey,
very,
D,
very hard worker. Yeah.
she's
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
She's been on, like I said, she's been on the show. We've interviewed her because I found her job fascinating, and at the end of the interview, I respected her even more, and I already had a high level of respect for her.
Good.
So, I
Me too.
recommend if
Yeah,
you're interested
she's a
in anything involving publicity, go look her up, see why she does what she does, and why she's different.
the
So,
promotionpeople.com. Leslie Downey at the
motionpeople.com.
promotionpeople.com. Yeah, she's fantastic.
We're going to end with that. I think, Dean, you're amazing in everything you've done, in your views on the world, and how
Thank
much
you.
this means. I love your attitude and your positivity and just the reflection of it. You're an
Thank
amazing
you.
person.
That
Thank you
means a
for
lot
being on our
to me.
show.
Thank you.
I
Thank you. So are
let me
you.
know how
Thank
we
you,
can help.
Nathaniel. And you too.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, we're going to get out of here.
With
Everybody have a great night. Josh, go ahead, play us out.
Oh my goodness, that is quite a question.
Oh, you are so funny. That is so true. You're like the only person that's ever asked me that question.
I'm really glad that you noticed that you pointed that out.
So I just want to give you a shout out and say it's appreciated.
It's been so fun chatting with you guys. I didn't realize how late it got.
I'll always talk to you guys.
Thanks very much. And again, you guys are super well prepared. You got your act together. I hope you continue to get more viewers. You deserve them.
You guys, you are the first podcast to bring this up, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
Bye.